still remember for the very first time this Madhuri Dixit song kind of came in, which is like Mera Piya Ghar Aaya O Ramji. For me, drag is a way of Brahmastra, or the superpower which I could use to change people. Hi, I'm Patruni Chidananda Sastry. I'm a drag artist from Hyderabad and I'm here to blow your mind. While I was growing up, I always had this influx of dance. I really loved the idea of dancing, performing, presenting. I used to wear, one of my sister's skirt and kind of used to dance when I was a kid, around the 2 or 3 years, and then started inspired by Krishna, like the heroine, and started learning Bharatanatyam at the age of 5. So I think Bharatanatyam became a way for me to kind of go ahead and explore my idea of gender and sexuality. In 2018 is when I was very much active within the space, within the community itself. I started meeting people. I was out and telling about my stories and everything. And 2008, when the 377 was struck down, we had a celebration in the same space. There was a reporter for Times of India who kind of came and asked me, like, how do you feel about being a part of this community, and what do you feel about the striking down of 377? And I was like, yeah, it's very wonderful, it's good, it's progressive, and all that thing which I kind of said in the jazz. And then at last he would ask me, what do you identify as? And I was very kind of confused. I was like, okay, what do I say? I don't actually had a name for myself or label for myself. And I said, I'm gender fluid. And I didn't realize that that word would kind of come on newspaper the next day morning. It says 21 years of dancer comes out as gender fluid, and I came out to the world at once, which also was with my mom and dad. So I had to sit them up and say that, okay, I'm gender fluid. I don't see gender in a certain way, I have to explain to them. Slowly and steadily I started analysing or understanding what my pansexuality is well, and I was trying to open up to my parents, to my family, and in that way it was very organic. I have a partner who's aware about what I do. My partner is aware that I'm a drag artist. They support me in bringing my true self to home as well as outside. I'm becoming the drag. Apart from that, I have a couple of drag kids as well who are kind of going ahead and bringing the idea of drag to it. I'm still kind of figuring out how should I be a better parent, or how should I ensure that my child is aware about the gender neutrality of the family, of myself. I love to be filmed. I think I will start from there. I started doing drag basically to kind of bring in the aesthetic of anti-beauty, because a lot of the times we see in the society that anything which is done for the purpose of art is always beautiful. It's like we have to have long hair, long nails, we have to dress in a certain way. So I need to kind of do drag which is more subtle, more reachable to the audience, more of me. And that's the time when I realized that, why can't I do drag in my own way? I picked up the style called as Tranimal Drag, which is basically like putting trash on your face and creating a look out of it. So that's how I started. I love saris, so my makeup is basically not to make myself beautiful, but to make myself more disgusting or more anti-beauty, more exaggerated. So I think that is the purpose of what my style of drag is. Drag is very political, and when I say it's very political, there are a lot of things which drag performer can do. With the current issues of saying that drag should be banned from children, it should not be performed in public, all of this is very kind of a bullshit situation, because drag is so powerful that it can change minds, it can alter the idea of what we have been living up to in lives, and could help us in growing more sympathetic towards the LGBTQI+ community. So for me, drag is a way of, I would say, Brahmastra, or the superpower which I could use to change people. The idea of Dragwanti came in 2019 to 20. That's the time when the COVID was happening. And what I realized is half of the drag queens are kind of sitting idle because they don't have much performances. That time was when I realized that, what one need to do is to know about who are the drag queens of India, how are they kind of there, what are they doing. So it was really important for me to kind of collect the data or have a space which would articulate and tell people about the stories of drag people who are there in India. And I thought, why can't I use this space to kind of talk about the idea of drag and how exactly Indianized it is. So I started Dragwanti. The more local support drag gets for their local drag queens, I think the more global it will kind of go. So that was the intent of Dragwanti, why exactly we started. So far we have 56 people who are actually going ahead and performing, and I think the number will go on and on and on as when we go forward. Anybody can do drag, everybody can do drag. It's just that they need the conviction of doing it, and they will be able to make far more better way if they are just doing it for who they are. So if you like my journey, please do go and share it with your community. Share it too much and share it so much that people will recognize me and the story. And do go ahead and follow Pluck TV for wonderful such contents.